The story begins at a school where a girl was tied up to a bed, asking for help. She suddenly stopped feeling her legs, and the reason for that is her legs are gone now. The person in a bunny costume is slowly cutting her legs while she's still conscious, feeling all the pain. After cutting her legs, the person moves on to her stomach. As the girl asked him to not kill her, the person said that he will not kill her. He mentions that her part in the game is just beginning. The scene shifts and we see some boys and girls trying to open something, but it wasn't opening. Hearing their loud voices, a gut named Hayato opened his eyes. Sitting beside him was a girl named Yuzuki. She immediately asked him if he's okay. Instead of answering, he was shocked to see all of his friends from middle school in front of him. When Hayato asked them where they were and what's going on, a boy named Kyusuk answered that they themselves didn't know anything because they also just woke up. He said that they all passed out on the way home from school. He guessed that they were most likely attacked by someone. A girl named Akari was holding onto a boy's arm tightly and said that this is kidnapping and everyone has been taken hostage. Then, the guy named Ryuji guessed that this might be the revenge for what happened in the past because all 7 of them were kidnapped. The girl named Shirori agreed and said that there can't be any other reason for 7 of them to get kidnapped together. She said that they should have faced it properly at the time. Before they could say anything more, Yuzuki stopped and said that right now they should be looking for a way out. Hayato agrees and says to Shirori that he understands what she's saying, but now's not the time. Then, Kyusuk pointed at the door and said it's the only way out, but they can't open it because it's reinforced. Right at that moment, the TV screen in the room turned on and the bunny costume person we saw at the start appeared on it. He welcomed all of them to the death game. He said that everyone will take part in the 6th death game. Those who pass will be able to move on to the next room. Clear all 6 and they will be able to leave. As he said that, the time starts on the screen. He tells them that they have 1 hour to escape this building. After the time's up, the building will be demolished. With that, the door opened and the person asked them to go through to start the first game. Hearing the term, death game, Hayato wondered if this was really revenge for what happened in the past. Seeing that the person kidnapped all 7 of them without anyone noticing, there's no way they would be able to find escape. So Kyusuk said that they have no choice but to move forward and complete all the games. As they walked toward the door, Hayato thought that the last time the 7 of them met was at their middle school graduation 2 years ago. He never thought they'd get together ever again. While everyone was walking, Yuzuki was stunned. She was so scared that she couldn't even move. Seeing her like that, Hayato tried to talk to her and cheered her up. Suddenly he heard someone shout. He immediately rushed through the door and saw something horrifying. The girl we see at the start of the story is sitting in front of them. The girl's face and eyes are completely stitched and closed. Her legs are gone and there's dynamite stitched into her stomach. Her hands are also tied to the chair so she can't even move. While everyone was horrified and shocked, trying to comprehend what's going on, the TV turned on again. The bunny costume person decided to explain the rules for this game. He said that in 3 minutes, the chair the girl's in will go into flames. Within that time, they have to undo her restraints and remove her from the chair. If they fail to do it, she will burn, the dynamite in her belly will ignite and she'll die. As he finished explaining, the timer started. While everyone was unable to move, Kyusuk snapped them out and said that they could do it. When Kyusuk saw that her arm was attached to the chair with wires, he asked them to start looking for something they could use to cut the wires. They quickly start looking for something, but they waste 2 minutes in doing that and still couldn't find anything. In the end, Hayato suggested that they should pull her out. Everyone was horrified hearing that suggestion, but there's no other choice. Kyusuk and Hayato moved toward the chair and decided to pull her in one go. They both grabbed her arm and started pulling it up. But as they kept pulling it, they realized that the wires that are holding her to the chair are really long. It took them almost 40 seconds to pull her arms out. Seeing such a brutal injury on her arm, Hayato was about to fall down, but Kyusuk held him up. They thought that they freed her successfully, but when they tried to pull her up, they realized something shocking. It turned out that her back was also stuck to the chair with wires. And with only 10 seconds left, there's no way they'll be able to save her. As they were about to leave, the girl grabbed Hayato's arm. Seeing her like this, he remembered someone from the past, who grabbed his arm in the same way and asked for help while crying. With only 3 seconds left, Yuzuki pushed the girl away and ran out the room with Hayato. When the timer hit 0, the girl went up on fire and the dynamite in her belly activated, causing an explosion. Half of the girl's body fell in front of Hayato and the other half was still on the chair. Seeing that, Hayato said that it's just like before. He said that they could have saved her, but didn't. Hearing that, Kaisuke said to Hayato that before, and now, it's not his fault. Shiori also agreed and said that it wasn't anyone's fault. Right then, the TV in the room turned on again and the bunny costume person asked them to rest assured, because even though they failed the first game, they can still clear the game. However, the bunny is worried. He said that they fail the tutorial like this, so finishing the game will be harder for them. He said that the first game was just a warm-up. Starting from the second round, the lives of the line will be theirs. If they don't play seriously by the time they reach the sixth round, no one will be left alive. Now then, the bunny asked them to move to the next room. Akari was really scared and refused to move, shouting she would not move until the help arrived. Then, Kyusuk reminded her that this building will get demolished in an hour. If she doesn't move from here, she will die in 1 hour. Before Akari could say anything, Ryuji told her that they're better off than that dead girl. They're not hurt, and they're not tied up. He said that he's not going to roll over and die. Anyone who wants to sit and rot can stay here. Before entering the next room, he looked toward Akari and asked her if she's coming with him. Akari blushed and immediately grabbed Ryuji's arm, moving to the next room. Seeing that, Hayato smiled and thought that he's glad Ryuji's here because Akari always listens to him. Not just Ryuji, he's glad that everyone's here. Kyosuke is level-headed and keeps everyone on track. Shiori is diligent and always speaks the truth. Kazuhiko is mature, but he's very considerate of other people. And Yuzuki, the person who suffered and was hurt the most by what happened. As he thought that, we see a panel where Yuzuki is trying to cut her own arm. Thinking that they'll survive if they stick together, all of them entered the next room. The first thing they saw after entering the room were 2 glass cases. While they were wondering what to do in this room, the arrow shot toward Hayato out of nowhere. Luckily, the arrow only scratched his face a little. They looked around to see where this arrow came from, and they found a crossbow floating in the middle of the room. There were not only one, but many crossbows. Right then, another arrow shouted out and it scratched Yuzuki's leg. As the arrow kept coming, Ryuji was the first one to notice that the arrow couldn't pass through the glass case. When Ryuji entered the case, Akari asked him to open the door and let her enter as well. But when he tried to open it, the door didn't budge. This meant that only one person could enter each case. There was only one case left, and before others could enter it, Akari dashed toward it and took it for herself. After entering, she smiled and said, "First come, first served." As the students outside thought of watching out for the arrows, the crossbow stopped moving. While others were shocked, Hayato found the reason. He asked Akari and Ryuji to look up. Inside of each case, there was a really sharp fan attached to the roof. Both Ryuji and Akari were shocked and scared after seeing that. Then, the TV in the room turned and the bunny person decided to explain the rules for the second round. He said that the contenders for this round are the 2 who just tried to save themselves and ran to safety first. As he said that, Akari shouted loudly because the fan had started spinning. The bunny explained that the rotor blades will continue to lower until they've minced them down to their feet, but there's one way for them to save themselves, and that is to sacrifice the other person. If one of them pulls the lever on the floor, the other person's blade will lower even faster, but only as long as they pull the lever for. Once released, the rotors will slow down to their original speed. If one of the blades hit the floor, then the other one will stop falling. If neither of the levers are pulled, then in 3 minutes' time, both the blades will reach the bottom. They have 2 choices, sacrifice the other to survive, or die together. With that, the second round starts. Seeing the blade coming down, Ryuji punched the glass with full force and it didn't even budge. Meanwhile, Akari was shouting, asking the students outside to help her. They used the arrows from before and tried to break the glass, but nothing worked. Akari was really scared and wondered if she's really going to die. One day at school, a boy proposed to Akari, but she rejected him saying that she loves someone else. Akari acted like a really good girl while saying that, but after going onto the rooftop, Akari started laughing, calling that guy a dumb person. He called that guy stupid and said to herself that she deserves someone handsome and rich. At that moment, she heard a laugh from behind. It turns out that Ryuji was sitting behind her the whole time. Akari immediately asked him to not tell anyone what he just heard. She said that she wants to stay as the kind, beloved angel everyone knows her as. Ryuji said that he doesn't have any interest in angels. He prefers it when he gets to see the good points of someone mean. Hearing that, Akari blushed. From that point on, Akari stopped trying to dress up her personality. She stopped hiding what and who she didn't like. She didn't care what anyone else thought because Ryuji always accepted her. In the present, Akari was really scared, didn't know what to do. Suddenly, she said to Ryuji that he always listened to her every demand. Saying that, She said that can't die like this and grabbed the lever. She pulled the lever, and immediately, Ryuji's blade started coming down faster. But right at that moment, Akari's eyes started burning. When she took her hand from her face, we saw that one side of her face had burned. Then, the TV turned on again and the bunny person apologized for not telling them before that. When they pull the lever, a strong acid will spray from the holes in the floor. With this, they realized that sacrificing a person's life isn't such an easy thing to do. Hearing that, Akari started worrying about what if the acid leaves a scar on her face. She suddenly started shouting at Ryuji, saying that this is all his fault. She blamed him, saying that he told her to run into this box. She mentioned about the thing they did in the past and said that 3 years ago, it wasn't her fault but his fault. Hearing that, Ryuji was torn. He said that sacrificing a girl to save himself isn't cool. And just saving her seemed hypocritical to him. But now he knows what to do. He started pulling the leaves, and as he did that, the acid started pouring out from the ground. Ryuji endured the pain and kept holding the lever. On the other hand, Akari also refused to die like this. She took off her shirt and placed it on the ground. Then she started pulling the lever. The shirt partially blocked the acid on the ground, which gave Akari time to hold the lever longer. Suddenly, her shirt gave away and all the acid that was stored under the shirt poured on her face. But she still didn't let go of the lever, and in the end, the black in Ryuji's case almost reached down to him. As he asked Hayato to make sure to kill the rabbit for him, the blade reached him and tore him to shreds. On the other hand, Akari couldn't celebrate her win. Even though the blade on her side stopped, the acid gave her body too much damage and she died as well. As they both died, the TV turned on again and the rabbit announced the end of the round. He said that even though both of the players died, others won the round. He asked them to strengthen their backs and move on to the next room. Seeing the scene, Hayato clenched his teeth and questioned if they really did something so terrible that it deserves this kind of retribution. He wondered if their sin was so awful that they deserved this kind of retribution. He said that all they did was get on that bus. That's all. One day, all 7 of them were sitting in a bus. At the back seat, a father and his daughter were sitting as well. At first, everything was fine, until a car suddenly appeared in front of the bus. The driver of the car was sleeping and unknowingly appeared in front of the bus. The bus collided with the car and the driver couldn't control it anymore. It went off the road, hit the rails of the mountain and was about to fall off. Everyone was fine after the impact, but the bus was tilting, so they'll need to get off quickly. If they get out, the bus will surely fall in front because there'll be no extra load on the backside as all of them are standing at the back of the bus. As the students decided to leave the bus, the father of the little girl appeared in front of them. He asked them to not move until he'll go and get back his daughter. It turned out that because of the impact, the daughter fell in front and lost consciousness. Ryuji didn't agree with him. He said that they should get off the bus and get the rescue teams to help. But the father didn't listen. He grabbed a sharp piece of glass and asked them to not move. He said that if anyone tried to run, he would cut their legs. Suddenly, Ryuji moved and punched the father in the face. As they all started leaving the bus, the father grabbed Hayato's hand, asking him to not leave him and his daughter. Before Hayato could say anything, Yuzuki smashed the father's head with an umbrella. Because of that, the father also passed out and they all left the bus. After leaving the bus fell down the cliff and Yuzuki started questioning if she's the one who killed them. When Shirori was about to ask the same, Akari shouted that it was an accident. She said that if they hadn't run, they would have been dead too. To calm them down, Kyusuke gave them an example. He said that if a shipwreck and 2 people reach for a plank of wood that can only support 1 person. In order to save himself, a man who is already holding onto the plank will not let the second man join him, causing the second man to drown. In those circumstances, Japanese law does not consider the death a crime. However, in their case, they attacked the man, abandoning him and his child. Even though they're not in trouble legally, their families and people will surely think bad of them. In the end, they decided to not tell anyone about what happened that day. In the present, Hayato grabbed his head and thought that this revenge was too much. He said that what happened that day was an accident. They couldn't do anything about it. Suddenly, he realized that besides the 7 of them, no one knew what happened that day. So he wondered how that rabbit knew. There's only one possibility, and that is someone told another person about that incident. He looked around to see who it could be, but he decided to not doubt anyone for now. He thought that they needed to work together to finish the game and survive. In the next room, there were 5 boxes in front of them, and there was also a big blade hanging on top of the boxes. Rabbit appeared on the TV and started explaining rules for this game. Inside the boxes there are different things. 1 has hungry piranha, 2nd has large centipedes, 3rd has sharp blades, 4th has lit gas burners, and there's also an empty box. At the bottom of every box is a button. If they push all of the buttons, they pass. They're free to push the buttons in any order, but until the last button is triggered, all other buttons must remain pressed down. If they do not, this room will be flooded with poisonous gas. Without giving any explanation about the big blade, the rabbit started the game. They only have 1 minute to press all the buttons and also choose the boxes. Without wasting a second, Kazuhiko ran toward the empty box. Kyusuk tried to stop him, saying there might be some trick to it. But Kazuhiko didn't listen. He called Kyusuk devious and said that he's the one who suggested they keep quiet in the first place. He called Shiori cruel, saying even since she got recommended to that school, all she has cared about is her marks. He called Hayato a coward, reminding him that the father asked him to save him, but he tossed him aside. Hearing that, Yuzuki reminded Kazuhiko that they all tossed that father aside. Kazuhiko didn't stop after talking about the 3 of them. He called Yuzuki the most surprising of all. He said that she always puts on a cute face, and then attacks someone with an umbrella. When only 20 seconds left, they decided to not stop Kazuhiko further and decided to choose their own boxes. First, Kazuhiko put his hand inside the box and easily pressed the button. Kyusuk put the hand in one that consists of piranha. He endured the pain and pressed the button. Shiori put her hand in the one that had a lot of centipedes. Her box isn't really dangerous, but just really gross and creepy, so she easily pressed the button. Next is Yuzuki. She put her hand in the one that has burners and pressed the button while enduring a lot of pain. The last one is Hayato. His box consisted of towering blades. They were so tall that he couldn't reach the bottom and press the button. His only option is to forcefully pierce his own arm and reach the button. With only 8 seconds left, everyone shouted at him, asking him to press the button. In the end, he pierced his own hand a lot and barely pressed the button. As he did that, they got congratulations for passing the round. Everyone took out their hand, finally relieved. But then they heard a loud shout. It turned out that Kazuhiko's arm got stuck in the box. Knives dug into his arm and he can't pull it out now. The rabbit appeared on the TV and asked them if they didn't learn anything from the last round. Those who selfishly try to shame themselves have an extra round to clear. If he wants to save himself, he'd need to press the button again. The blades then will cut off his arm and he'll be free. He has 30 seconds until the blade above his head will come crashing down and cut his body. Kazuhiko mentions that he will not be able to cut his own arm. Hayato told him that one arm isn't worth his life, but Kazuhiko didn't listen. But Kazuhiko called himself a coward and said that he can't do it. He said that he can't play another 3 rounds with only one arm. If it's only a quick death, he can gladly accept it over losing an arm. When only 3 seconds were left, he was about to reveal something about the one who's doing all this. But before Hayato could listen, Kyusuk pushed him. He did that because the timer has hit 0. And immediately after, the big blade fell on Kazuhiko's head, killing him instantly. With that, the rabbit asked them to please continue to the next round. After he died, Hayato gritted his teeth, wondering if this will just keep happening. Right then, Kyusuk asked him what Kazuhiko told him before dying. Realizing Kyusuk didn't listen to what Kazuhiko said to him, Hayato decided to not tell him. He just told Kyusuk that Kazuhiko told him he didn't want to die. Hearing that, Kyusuk didn't question any further. Hayato asked him if something's bothering. Kyusuk answered no and mentioned that he just wanted to check something. As he moved away, Hayato remembered what Kazuhiko said to him. He told him that the one doing all this is one of them. Kazuhiko also mentioned seeing something, so Hayato wondered what Kazuhiko saw that made him think he had found the culprit. At that moment, Hayato decided to not think of anything stupid. He concluded that everyone here is a victim, so there's no way one of them could be a culprit. Right then, Shiori asked him why he kept staring at her. She asked him if he wanted to say something. Hayato said that he has nothing to say and also reminded them that they don't have much time so they should move on. In the next room, there were 4 chairs that were filled with holes. The TV turned on and the bunny person asked everyone to take their seats. Once they are seated, they have to place their hands over the handprints. Once the sensors in the prints have all registered their prints, the bunny person will then explain the rules. After thinking for a while, all of them chose one seat and sat on it as the bunny instructed them. After all 4 sensors were confirmed, the bunny person decided to explain the rule. Suddenly, handcuffs came out of the chair and trapped their hands. Now they're stuck and can't leave their place. The bunny person explained that round 4 is a choice. Under their fingers are the buttons A to D, and their chairs are also labeled from A to D. The bunny person asked them to choose who amongst them is the most guilty. Those who get voted will be punished. All the holes have spikes in them. The person with even one vote will get punished, and if even one refuses to vote, all of them will get skewered. The bunny person leaves them no choice. They can't all vote for themselves because if the person has even one vote, he will get punished. They have 3 minutes to decide. With all the rules explained, round 4 started. Hayato realized that he couldn't break the handcuffs, so he asked Kyusuk if there's really no way out. Kyusuk, with a worried expression, said that they have no choice but to choose someone. If they don't vote for anyone, they all will die. Suddenly, Yuzuki shouted, asking them to choose her. She said that voting for myself is better than having to vote for someone to die for her. She asked them to vote for her, but Hayato refused. He said that he doesn't want to choose any of them. He couldn't bring himself to sacrifice others to save himself. But the problem is if one doesn't vote for anyone, that person will get punished. At that moment, Shiori told Hayato that she's going to vote for him. When Hayato asked the reason, Shiori answered that she overheard his conversation with Kazuhiko a little bit. Hayato was shocked and asked her what that had to do with her voting for him. She said that she heard Kazuhiko calling him the culprit. When he told her that she heard Kazuhiko wrong, Kyusuk got angry because Hayato words meant Kazuhiko told him something similar to what Shiori said. But Hayato lied to Kyusuk, telling him something completely different. Before Hayato could explain anything, Shiori shouted loudly, accusing Hayato of being the one who told the rabbit about what they did in the past. When Hayato asked her why he would do something like that, Shiori just assumed that he wanted to look impressive in front of Yuzuki by being a good person. Hayato couldn't say anything because Shiori had already decided to vote for him. Hayato asked Kyusuk to say something to her, but he just apologized. Kyusuk mentioned that he's not doubting him. He has already stated that they have to choose someone. He said that he's not in the position to tell anyone who or who not to vote. Hearing that, Shiori asked Kyusuk that he should vote Hayato as well. She's thinking of sacrificing Hayato to save themselves. As he was thinking of what to do, the time was about to end. In the end, he voted without saying a word. After the result was revealed, Hayato had 2 votes, both Yuzuki and Kyusuk had 1 vote. While Shiori was the only one with 0 votes. Hayato voted for himself, Yuzuki and Kyusuk voted for themselves as well. Shiori asked Kyusuk why he didn't choose Hayato. He answered by apologizing, saying he doesn't have any proof that Hayato is guilty, so he couldn't vote for him. And the other reason is that the rules never say the person with the votes would die. The bunny only said that the person with votes will get punished, and the punishment can be anything, not only death. Shiori was about to ask him what he meant when the rabbit decided to begin the punishment. Right then, Shiori got pierced by tens of spikes from her chair and died. It turned out that the punishment for those with votes was to watch their friend die. The only one with no votes has been executed. The bunny reminded them that he kept telling them to stop trying to save only their own hide. He called Shiori the waste of space and asked the others to proceed to the next round. Before entering the next room, Hayato asked Kyusuk if he knew this would happen. Kyusuk answered no and said that there was a chance that either the one with the votes or the ones who voted to die. He clenched his head, saying if he had persuaded Shiori and been wrong, they all would have died. He couldn't choose to shoulder everyone's lives. Kyusuk shouted, asking them to blame him if they wanted to. Hayato walked toward him, saying he couldn't blame him. They had been wrong over and over. Hayato said that if they had come to a decision faster in the first round, they might have been able to save that girl. If they hadn't competed in round 2, Ryuji and Akari might still be alive. If Kazuhiko had abandoned his arm in round 3, he wouldn't have died. And this round, if they hadn't thought of sacrificing their friends, they could have all survived. He said that everyone had backfired, the bus accident too. They might have been able to save the girl and her father, but they didn't even try. With determined expressions, Hayato said that they would not make any more mistakes. Hayato was sure that they would survive the next game. He looked at Kyusuk and Yuzuki and thought that he could trust these two. He called Kazuhiko wrong for saying that the culprit is one of them. To prove it, he thought they would survive the next round together. At the end of this chapter, there's a small panel showing someone smiling. This person is surely the culprit. As they left the room, they reached a corridor. Hayato looked out the window, trying to call someone for help. But he quickly realized that they're in the mountains. Right then, Kyusuk found an exit, but it was completely chained up. There was no way for them to leave. As Yuzuki said that they might be able to leave after finding the key to that lock. The TV turned on and the bunny person said that she's correct, but also wrong. The bunny said that there are 2 games left. He decided to explain the rules for round 5. But before that, The bunny had some unfortunate news for them. He revealed that one of them is trying to kill them, and in round 5, they have to kill that traitor. Bunny pointed at the axe lying on the counter beside Hayato. Bunny asked them to use this axe to kill the person they think is the traitor and then move on to the next round. With that, the timer started. When this time will hit 0, this building will get demolished. So they have to complete 2 rounds in under 20 minutes. Without thinking for a moment, they all agreed that killing each other would be really dumb. Kyusuk suggested that they should split up and find the key and run out. Hayato was worried because the idea of splitting up could be dangerous. But Kyusuk pointed at the passing time. He said that they can't afford to take things slowly. When Hayato agreed to his plan, Kyusuk picked up the axe, asking if he should keep it. Hayato asked for the reason and Kyusuk said that he doesn't want the rabbit to use it against them. He smiled and asked them to not worry because he had no intentions of killing his friends with it. In the end, they all agreed and decided to split up. Kyusuk also told them to scream if anything happened. While Hayato was walking around the building trying to find the key, he saw a trail of blood on the floor. The blood was coming from one of the rooms. When he entered that room, he was shocked to see the severed legs of someone. He quickly realized that these are the legs of the girl that died in the first round. Seeing the scene, he couldn't hold on and threw up right there. Forcing himself together, he left the room wondering who that girl might be. Seeing the things the rabbit had done to that girl, it is sure that the rabbit hated that girl more than Hayato and his friends. While searching around, Hayato felt like there's still many things about this whole scene that they didn't know about. Suddenly, he heard a scream. It was Yuzuki's scream, and remembering that she went to the second floor, Hayato quickly ran toward her. For some reason, Kyusuk has pinned Yuzuki to the ground. Seeing him, Kyusuke freed Yuzuki and she quickly ran toward Hayato. When Hayato asked Kyusuk why he's trying to harm Yuzuki, Kyusuk answered that Yuzuki is a traitor. He took out a remote from his pocket and said that Yuzuki was carrying this around inside her clothes. This remote was used to control the TV screen. Kyusuk found it strange that the rabbit would talk to them, but it never reacted to anything they said or spoke to it directly. Yuzuki would wait for the right time and then start and stop the video. Yuzuki shouted, calling Kyusuk a liar, saying he was the one carrying that remote. Hearing that, Kyusuk was about to get angry, but Hayato quickly calmed him down. He asked him when he suspected Yuzuki carrying the remote around. Kyusuk said that the rabbit never spoke to them directly except for once. Earlier, when Yuzuki said that they would be able to leave if they find the key to that lock, the rabbit spoke to them saying she is correct but also wrong. In the end, Kyusuk is sure that Yuzuki is actually the rabbit who's controlling everything. The remote in Kyusuk's hand is the biggest proof. Yuzuki refused with what Kyusuk said. Now, Hayato doesn't know who's lying and who's telling the truth. Kyusuk asked Yuzuki to hand over the key, but Yuzuki said that Kyusuk already had the key. She is saying that Kyusuk is the one doing all this and he has the key. Hearing that, Kyusuk got really angry and picked up the axe from the ground. He decided to keep cutting her until he got the key. As he slashed the axe at Yuzuki, Hayato came in the way and saved her. Hayato got injured in the process and asked Kyusuk why he's doing this. Even after Kyusuk provided all the proof, our dumb main character refuses to believe him and is protecting Yuzuki. He held down Kyusuk and asked Yuzuki to run away. Without wasting a moment, Yuzuki started running away. With no other choice, Kyusuk hit Hayato in the stomach and ran to find Yuzuki. Hayato, holding his stomach, also walked slowly to stop Kyusuk. As he was passing by one of the rooms, Yuzuki opened the door. Because Kyusuk was right in front of them, Yuzuki asked him to not make any noise or turn around. With a sad and innocent face, Yuzuki asked Hayato to believe in her. Hayato said to her that he had no idea which of them was telling the truth. But he doesn't want to lose either of them. He said that it's more important to get the axe off him first and then talk. Hearing that, Yuzuki agreed and made a plan. She said that she would run to the first floor and when Kyusuk would come behind him, Hayato would push him off the stairs. But to be safe, Yuzuki asked Hayato to wait until he almost reached the bottom. When Hayato agreed with her plan, she didn't waste a moment and ran toward the stairs. As expected, Kyusuk noticed and ran behind her. But Yuzuki didn't go according to plan, she didn't head downstairs. She waited near the stairs with her leg out. And when Kyusuk came running, he tripped on her leg and fell downstairs. Seeing that, Hayato was really shocked and ran to save Kyusuk. But before he could reach him, Yuzuki was already standing in front of him holding an axe. She said to Kyusuk that he was calm and all his reasoning was correct, but he made one mistake. In death games, those who tried to sacrifice others die first. As she said that, she plunged the axe into Kyusuk's head, killing him on the spot. At that moment, Hayato also reached Kyusuke, but because Hayato was so dumb, Kyusuke died. While crying, he asked Yuzuki why she did that. Instead of answering, Yuzuki said that she thought Hayato would be the only one to realize the truth. She mentioned that she even gave him hints, but he was surprisingly dumb. Saying that, she congratulated Hayato for reaching the final round. Instead of getting happy on reaching the final round, like bro is the first ever in the world to reach the final round, he should have celebrated, but he was crying. He asked Yuzuki why he killed all of his friends. At that question, Yuzuki smiled and said that she's no Yuzuki. She was thinking that Hayato would have noticed a lot earlier from her voice and manners. Hearing that, he remembered Kazuhiko saying he saw something that revealed the culprit and grabbed Yuzuki's arm. The arm only had burn marks from the third round. Yuzuki inflicted self-harm and should have scars on her arm, but this person doesn't have any scars. She revealed that she's Ayano, the wife and mother of the one they watched die on that bus. Ayano said that Yuzuki was her cousin. She told her a lot about all of them, so she used that information to trick them, but she can't believe Hayato didn't notice at all. Hearing that, Hayato asked her where's Yuzuki. She smiled and told him that he already watched her die in round 1. Remembering how Yuzuki died, Hayato clenched his head, shouting in pain. When Hayato asked her the reason for doing all this, she said one word, revenge. As a reward for reaching the final round, she decided to tell him everything. Her story is as follows. As soon as she left high school, she was proposed to by her husband Hiroki. She was so happy, but her parents refused to give them a blessing. They told her that if she married Hiroki, she would never step foot in their home again. Because Hiroki was her former teacher, and so society would never accept their relationship, she still chose to be with Hiroki. They moved far away, got married and had Mio. They lived happily, just the three of them. When Mio turned 3, Hiroki suggested that they should tell Ayano's parents about Mio. Ayano refused, saying it's been 3 years since she left the house and her parents had probably forgotten about her. At that moment, Hiroki revealed that he talked to her parents on every Mio's birthday. Hiroki apologized for never telling her this, but he couldn't leave things as they were. Hiroki is sure that Ayano's parents distanced themselves from her so she wouldn't be hurt by gossip. Hiroki said that every time he calls Ayano's parents, they ask him with shaking voices about how Ayano's doing. Hearing that, Ayano started crying and Hiroki decided to take Mio to her parents' house next week. When Ayano said that she also wanted to go, Hiroki touched Ayano's stomach and said that she should look after their new addition first. A week later, Ayano was doing dishes when she got a call from Hiroki. From the call, she heard everything that happened on that bus. Because Hiroki didn't call her himself, it was just an accidental call because of the bus accident. During the funeral, Yuzuki was also present. Ayano wanted her to confess everything herself. It turned out that because Yuzuki and Ayano's family were out of contact for some years, Yuzuki didn't know the father on the bus was Ayano's husband. Ayano asked her if she didn't talk to Hiroki at all while they were on the bus. She asked if this is true that she ran out of the bus without noticing that Hiroki and Mio are still in it. When Yuzuki answered that she didn't notice them, Ayano got really angry and grabbed her from her shoulder. She called her a liar and asked her to apologize to Hiroki and Mio for what she did. As Yuzuki again lied that she didn't do anything, Ayano was really shocked. She fell to the ground because she suddenly felt pain both in her heart and stomach. Because of the impact of the fall, the baby in her stomach also died. Ayano lost 3 of her family members because of Hayato and his friends. She especially tortured Yuzuki because they used to be really close. Ayano was really angry because despite knowing everything, Yuzuki didn't apologize to Hiroki nor she admitted her mistake. She thought about getting revenge every single day. Matter of fact, this revenge doesn't make any sense. Ayano searched many revenge methods and in the end, she used all of her widow's inheritance into preparing this game. Saying that, Ayano smiled and said that she cut Yuzuki's legs herself because Yuzuki was a coward who never admitted what had done. Hearing that, Hayato grabbed Ayano from her neck and pinned her to the ground, saying Yuzuki wasn't a coward. Hayato said that the reason she lied to Ayano was to try and protect the rest of her friends. Hayato said that Yuzuki and everyone she killed were kind people. He called her coward for killing all of them. After strangling her for a while when Hayato freed her, Ayano said that she knew she's wrong. That's why round 6 is her turn to be judged. There's about 5 minutes left until this building explodes. Round 6 is to get a key to the exit. When Hayato asked her what it was, Ayano answered that she had swallowed it several hours ago. She asked him to use the axe, cut open her stomach, and get the key. Hearing that, Hayato refused to kill her. He grabbed the axe, ran toward the door and tried to break the lock with the axe. After he tried for a while, Ayano told her that the axe would break before the lock. When Hayato refused to listen to her and hit the lock again, the axe broke. The axe flew past Hayato, cutting his face a little and falling in front of Ayano. Seeing how Hayato is still refusing to kill her, Ayano started crying, saying if he had shown this kindness at that time, he might have saved Mio and Hiroki. With that, she picked up the knife saying she'll help him out. Without hesitating, Ayano picked up the axe and cut her own neck, after asking Hayato to save himself. With only 60 seconds left, Hayato had no choice but to cut open a hole in her stomach to get the key. While thinking that he doesn't want to die, he took out her intestines and started finding the key. In the end, he was able to find the key and left the building. In the middle of the forest, he cried a lot instead of celebrating his win. Bro is already so dumb. He should at least celebrate the win. Like if he was just a little smarter, he could have avoided the games and saved almost everyone. The end. Here are some funny little stories. During round 1, when Kyusuke asked them to find a glass or something, they could have just broken Shiori's glasses and used them. Shiori realized this after dying. Kyusuke sighed. He said that since it's only 3 of them now, Yuzuki could be the only culprit. When Hayato asked him the reason, he said to Hayato that he's so dumb to set up everything and do such fine acting. Ayano sighed. After planning all of her revenge, it was time to start recording. One time when she said everything, she checked the camera and she realized that she forgot to press record. And she also realized this only after recording that she should use a different voice to not get caught. Hiroki and Mio sighed. In heaven, Mio was crying, saying to her that the mother was doing scary things. Hearing that, Hiroki also made an evil face, saying if she's going to kill them, she should get it over with already. When Mio started crying even more after hearing that, Hiroki said that he was just kidding and hurting people is bad. In the end, Mio said that they should stop Mama, and to do that they should bring her to heaven right away. There's Yuzuki and Hayato's little story as well. Yuzuki was crying because her only lines in the manga are in flashback. In the present, she's basically in her underwear with no legs. She called Ayano a meanie for impersonating her and getting closer to Hayato. Hayato's side is just boring. Because he's so dumb and didn't realize that it wasn't Yuzuki with him all this time, Yuzuki asked him to not fall for phishing scams in the future.